Let's get to it, man. Open Sesame, Archboy Chosen, man. Like, subscribe, enjoy the reaction. If not, fair enough, you are trash. It's your boy Chosen, man. The Swedish community, y'all show me a lot of love. Swedish fans, y'all show me a lot of love, man. I appreciate y'all. So I had to get to the documentary, man. Here we go.
Death, and gang activity. This video is an educational documentary. It does not intend to glorify, incite, or encourage illegal behavior. All of the information is taken from public sources and is shown on the basis of fair use. I've made every effort to ensure accuracy of the sources, but I am not responsible for any content third parties published. Every effort has been made to censor this video in accordance with YouTube's community guidelines, but if you want to see an uncut version of this video, you can do so on patreon.com/traplawross. But if you're not interested in that, just hit the subscribe button and prepare to hear one of the craziest stories ever told. Okay. Sweden. The country that gave us ABBA and IKEA is probably the last country you would think of when it comes to gangster rap. It's a
IKEA's from Sweden? I actually never knew that. I never knew IKEA was from Sweden.
Country known for its stability and affordability, its safety, being rated #1 for quality of life. Sweden has ranked #1 on the Gender Equality Index. They provide universal healthcare and free education to the level the United States can only dream of. It's a beautiful country with incredible nature and picturesque landscapes, but behind the surface lurks a dangerous underbelly. Because despite all of the positive things that Sweden has gotten right, it's a country with deep-seated problems. For example, the international media has sometimes paid attention to violence occurring in one particular spot of the country. The city of Malmö, in the southern tip of Sweden, which has since the early 2010s made headlines for having an unusually high number of shootings. However, tensions have risen to new highs in the mid-2010s following the undesirable state of Sweden received the United States can only dream of. It's a beautiful country with incredible nature and picturesque landscapes, but behind the surface lurks a dangerous underbelly. Because despite all of the positive things that Sweden has gotten right, it's a country with deep-seated problems. For example, the international media has sometimes paid attention to violence occurring in one particular spot of the country. The city of Malmö, in the southern tip of Sweden, which has since the early 2010s...
Sweden, Chicago grapples with deadly wave of shootings. That's crazy. A wave of execution style shootings in a police station. What? Nigga, a bomb? Nigga, what? Nigga, what? What? Yo! Nigga, wasn't Goldilocks Swedish? Yo, what is going on? She looking for the 3 yo, that's crazy. Only minutes when wow, 15. Whoa. Firefighters have occasionally sought police protection. Now that's crazy. Imagine trying to take out a fire and you like, nigga, back up away. You gotta if my firefighter got a bulletproof vest on top of that big ass oxygen tank, yeah, that nigga, yeah, we wildin'. Yo, a bombing is crazy. Police station, like, listen, yo, that's insane, bro. Listen, I'm telling you, we wild over here. Like, there's some bad neighborhoods. It takes a lot to do something to a police station. That's a different level of like, you don't care. That's crazy, nigga. Yo, like, imagine you call the police and them niggas just like 911. Please stay on hold. We're not available at the moment. We are dealing with our own stuff. Stay strong, nigga. What, nigga? Yo, that'd be crazy. I call 911 and them niggas, they be like, I'm busy. I'm dealing with some stuff. That's crazy. That's wild. I don't even know what to say. That's wild. Okay.
Made headlines for having an unusually high number of shootings. However, tensions have risen to new highs in the mid-2010s following the so-called European refugee crisis, during which the liberal and desirable state of Sweden received the most asylum applications per capita in Europe. Over time, news and other media, particularly right-leaning ones, have begun publishing alarming reports of so-called no-go zones where even the police couldn't go due to out-of-control gang activity.
Our next guest has just
the feds need
to Europe.
Yo, feds are stupid. You said the feds got to call 911. It's crazy. Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, it makes sense that they would like that you trying to apply to Sweden. I mean, if we being honest, we're among the top recipients of Europe asylum applications per capita, with just to the own population with 8.4. I mean, it's the same as nigga. I would want to be there. Free healthcare. I definitely want to go there for sure.
In Europe. Over time, news and other media, particularly right-leaning ones, have begun publishing alarming reports of so-called no-go zones where even the police couldn't go due to out-of-control gang activity.
Our next guest has just returned from a trip to Europe. He went over there because he wanted to see the migrant crisis firsthand for himself.
Yo, no-go zones.
No-go zones in Sweden? I didn't think there were such places, but there are no-go zones where the police do not go. While he was there, he was jumped by 5 thugs.
I went there, met with the police officers. They said, when we're pursuing a suspect and they cross that threshold, and there's about 30 or 40 of them in Sweden, they will not pursue.
I've just
That's not funny. That's not funny. That's not funny, bro. I can see a nigga with the camera. I'm just recording. Nigga, shut your stupid ass up, nigga. I'm just recording. Mink, nigga, you thought that stupid shit, nigga. Nigga thought the camera was protection. Nigga, the police said, hey, yo, be safe, nigga. That's a nigga. We good. Yeah. Nigga, shut your stupid ass up, nigga. I will say that about Americans, bro. It's like with a camera, people just think you can go anywhere. Like, oh, we're American. We just journalize it. Nigga, what? Big nigga, rub in your pockets, bro. Yeah, run that. Yeah, all you got, bro. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. People be recording like, yo, I'll tell you, bro. Like Americans and media, bro. They start trying to record in other countries like it's Nat Geo Wild. They're like nobody can see these niggas. Like, don't worry, bro. Just go ahead, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Don't mind us, bro. Yeah, man. Wow. As you can see, I mean, these people are just in terrible conditions. Look at that nigga. Is that nigga licking a napkin? Stay safe, bro. Like, look, we gotta be the badge. We're okay. Wow, I just can't believe. Look how terrible this could. Like, nigga, obviously, nigga be like, hey, bro, what you got, bro? Hey, you talking mess, bro? You know I can see you, bro. Meek, nigga, mock him. Me. Yo, look at, I ain't gonna, that shit was funny.
The migrant crisis firsthand for himself. He went to no-go zones in Sweden. I didn't think there were such places, but there are no-go zones where the police do not go. While he was there, he was jumped by...
Like, why are we shocked? Like, bro said it like he shocked. Like, the place is called a no-go zone. It's like, yeah, bro, I was there, bro. He got jumped, bro. Like, what a terrible... Yo, if I show up to a vegetarian restaurant and I ask for a cheeseburger, they should smack the goofy out of me. They should smack the goofy out of my mouth. Yo, what are you talking about? They said it like they shocked. Meek, look, we got a media match. Meek, Meek, Looney Tunes, Meek. Bro, what are we doing? Meek, weave. Actually, run your pockets, bro.
By 5 thugs.
I went there, met with the police officer.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. He do kind of look like somebody that they jumped. Like, probably I know this nigga. Like, I know bro didn't come over here. That's why I fell out laughing, bro. He looked like somebody that got jumped, bro. Like, he probably was. Hey, bro, don't worry, bro. We just recording. Yeah, yo, keep doing what you're doing, nigga. Bro, what are you talking about? Like, imagine the camera all up in your face recording you in troubled times. Like, you're like, yeah, bro, we to be here. Bro, what? That don't help nothing you talking about, nigga.
They said, when we're pursuing a suspect and they cross that threshold, and there's about 30 or 40 of them in Sweden, they will not pursue.
I've just returned from Sweden, where something happened that I never would have imagined in such a wonderful country. My crew and I were attacked. We had things thrown at us, we were punched and kicked, and my cameraman was run over. Unfortunately, Sweden has become a victim of its own humanity.
The nigga went to the no-go. They jumped him in the back of his head. Still ain't grow back. Hey, Flames, are you stupid, bro? Flames, are you stupid? They jumped him in the back of his head. Still ain't grow back. Hey, Flames, you're stupid. Yo, this is what I don't like, though. This is what I will say I don't like about the media. What are you talking about?
Thrown at us, we were punched and kicked, and my cameraman was run over. Unfortunately, Sweden has become a victim of its own humanity.
Nigga went to something called the no-go zones and said, unfortunately for us, we were beat, kicked, punched, and it's just unfortunate that these zones. Nigga, did you go to a no-go zone? You went to a place called a no-go zone, and you are appalled of what took place. Like, that's what made me mad, bro. Like, you like trying to, like, I get you trying to show how these zones need to be, but like, why are you saying it like that wasn't supposed to happen? Like, Sweden is still a good country. Like, why are you trying to say it like that? Like, I can't believe that they didn't hear it to us with media badges. as they beat us. No. Stop. Get it on camera. Yo. No. Oh, they're beating us. They're kicking us. Damn. Did we get it on camera? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. I don't like that.
For all its generosity, Sweden is now grappling with communities of disaffected migrants who can't find jobs and have few prospects. There are now 55 declared no-go zones in Sweden, where police have to escort ambulances to ensure their safety.
55 no-go zones is crazy, though. 55 no-go zones is wild. That's a lot.
Within minutes of us arriving, a group of young men make it clear we're not wanted and deliberately run down our cameraman.
Whoops! Hey, go on!
I mean, he put a camera in the nigga faces, bro. It's supposed to just want to be interviewed.
And even they fear their presence will be provocative.
I think it's better if you go in without us, because I think it would be...
Very aggressive.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're young. So we will stay here, and if it
That's
is...
fine.
You watch us.
Thank you. Okay.
Bro, what do you mean? Bro, this is not, see, okay, like, come on, bro. Like, bro, imagine, like, I'm not saying bro got a job. I don't know, bro. Imagine you late to work and a nigga got a camera on your face. It's like, yeah, bro, so how terrible is your life? Yeah, we like to hear it. What, nigga? Bro, get on my face, bro. Leave me alone, bro. Stop talking to me. And an American trying to come up to you like that, we just, like, you low-key think y'all just hot stuff, bro. You coming over here to talk. You want me to talk about how bad my life, bro. That's crazy. Like, imagine a nigga late to work like, yeah, bro, so your life sucks, doesn't it? Yes. Yes, do you drink cold milk? How many socks do you own? Yes, tell me. Wow. And just like that, I can't believe that he looked at me and threw a cigarette at me. I just can't believe these no-go zones, man. Nigga, what? Bro, who wants to talk to you about that? American, black, yellow, purple, pink, taste the rainbow, nigga. Who want to talk to you about, yeah, man, it was terrible. Bro, nobody wants to talk about that. In fact, if it was Americans, they might have punched you in the face. Bro, if you don't get your ass on my face, bro. They say, yeah, your life sucks. Yes, let us hear more. Bro, what is going on? It did. You confused why the police, their presence might not be welcome? First of all, if you try to talk to anybody about the real, obviously the authority figure is not going to be the best presence. Like, if you went to a school to interview the kids and the principal is right there, obviously he's not going to keep it a buck. His presence isn't going to be desired. Nigga, if you go interview a classroom about, yo, what the class is really like, the teacher standing right next to you is not going to be the best thing to get the real story about what life is like. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what are you, like, come on, man. I don't like people trying to play a game, bro. I don't like that, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
It seemed that this violence and lawlessness had spread to the entire country, as reports circulated of teenagers roaming the streets of Sweden with rifles and shootouts had become commonplace. The right-wing politicians in Sweden and elsewhere were quick to take advantage of these news stories to push their hard-on immigration and crime policies. And even globally, right-wing politicians seek to capitalize on the issue, with Donald Trump himself even being particularly outspoken about the problems arising in Sweden.
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden. Who would believe this? Sweden. They took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible. I love Sweden. Great country, great people.
So how is it like being so broke that you survived on cereal with no milk? Yes, how is that? Yes. How are those wish sandwiches? Yes. You wish you had some meat on those sandwiches? I wish you did too. Back to you, Bob. Nigga, what? Hey, look, it just don't get that nigga nobody, no nothing. They just, hey, man, be safe, man. Help you stay up. Bro, I'll tell you, they try to record this like this is that Geo Wild, bro. Like, bro, like, people can see you. Like,
I love Sweden, but they understand I'm right. The people over there understand I'm right. Take a look at what's happening in Sweden.
To be fair, the more liberal and left-leaning media were equally quick to focus on dismantling these claims and suggesting that the problems had at least been greatly exaggerated, with senior figures in the Swedish police coming out to publicly denounce the existence of so-called no-go zones in the country.
To me, I've been working in the most vulnerable areas in Stockholm. I've been working there for 18 years. We don't have a no-go zone in Stockholm. In my opinion, 55
no-go zones is crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, that's wild. Like, I'm gonna say, like, I honestly don't know how big the country of Sweden is compared to America, but like in California, and I would say in like LA, and LA is like massive. There's a lot of dangerous spots. I don't know if there's 55. Like I mean, like actually in the city. Like I don't know, like not in like the valley, but like 55 no go zones is like 55 is crazy. I don't know. You'd have to tell the police, but like a 55 no go is crazy.
We don't have a no-go zone in Sweden.
But this isn't a video about the migrant crisis.
55 in
it's
one
a
city
video
is crazy.
about gangsters. And not dissimilar to the migration in the United States that saw Italian Americans establishing the mafia there, in the years that followed the influx of people from all over the world, a new, modern gang culture would emerge in Sweden, arguably with a heavy influence from gangster rap and drill music coming out of Chicago and London. Because as the years went on, reports about increasing violence, and particularly increasing gang-related violence, would unfortunately not go away, but become much more common in Sweden. From shooting high-caliber weapons into rivals' apartments, shootouts in the middle of the street, ghost riding luxury cars for cover, drive-bys out of BMWs with AK-47s, brazen assassinations in packed restaurants, to turf wars between rival gangs that go far beyond shootouts, with gangsters literally blowing up their ops buildings.
It happened to the residential area in Fullerö, north of the city of Uppsala. Investigators say the 25-year-old victim was a neighbour of the targeted premises and had no criminal links. Several other people were injured in 2 other blasts across the country, one in the south and one in a suburb of Stockholm. The attacks are said to be part of a long-running feud between 2 rival gangs in a turf war of drugs and weapons.
Shootouts and bombings have become commonplace in part of the country, leaving the media, public, and politicians asking themselves what can be done to stop the out-of-control gangs from waging war there. Going into the election year of 2022, gang violence became a hot-button issue for voters in Sweden, and even the left-leaning political party in power at the time was admitting that something had gone deeply wrong in the country. But that seemed to be too little, too late for the Swedish public, and now it was the right-wing parties, particularly the far-right party Sweden Democrats, who would end up coming out as a big winner at the elections and becoming the second largest party in Sweden. This enabled them to finally have direct government influence for the first time in the party's history, despite not officially becoming a government party. Now, much of the new government's policy initiatives would centre around tougher immigration policies and introducing harsher sentences for gang members, including those who were underage, with the leader of the far-right party even suggesting that kids as young as 13 should be able to get a life sentence there. But by this time, the problem was deeply entrenched in Swedish culture, and the gangs in Sweden had already formed, being made up of youths who had moved to Sweden years, even decades ago, and in many cases, who had even been born in Sweden, representing the 2nd or 3rd generation of immigrants. And of course, as we all know, where there's gangsters struggling, it's only a matter of time before some of those gangsters become gangster rappers and begin using their music to tell the tale of their struggle in the streets. And in recent years, in connection to the rise of gang culture there, the new hot-button issue to emerge in Sweden is the popularity of gangster rap. As over these years of intense gang violence...
Yo, they wild over there, bro. The blowing up is crazy. Like the bombs is crazy. I like, and I would be honest, like a no-go zone is crazy. Like I think every city, state, country has an area that cops are probably not gonna be there a lot. 55 no-go zones in, I believe, a city is wild. If that is true. That's insane. I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, I'm actually like genuinely like, nigga, that's crazy. Like I don't even know what to do with that. And tough on migration and immigration policies. Somebody getting life at 13 sounds very crazy. Sounds very harsh. But what people do is, especially in gangs, is they have the youth commit crimes because they'll give multiple chances. So it's sad because when you're youth, you make bad decisions, but the adults are using youth to make decisions. So if kids are more like, bro, I might get 13 years, I might get life, bro, it might be done for me. You know what I'm saying? Help deter. But at the same time, bro, the youth is like, youth is everything. And what I mean by that is the youth, when you're young, you think it won't be youth, regardless. Whether it's positive or negative, when you're young, you're more fighting for change and you think the impossible is possible because you're young, which is why they always say change is with the youth. So I don't really know the full answer, but like they documented videos, like, bro, it's been too late now, nigga, we here. So that's tough. We're 2024. Like, that was Trump's speech in 2016, 8 years ago.
Violence in the streets. Emerging from those streets have been numerous gangster rappers who...
I know, bro. I think this is Yasin. I don't really know the rest.
become mainstream names in the Swedish music scene, all off the back of their alleged ties to serious criminal gangs. But after the genre's biggest star, rapper Einar, who had allegedly seemingly associated with several different gangs from the country, was first kidnapped by one of these gangs in 2020.
What? This nigga was associated with 7 and then got... That's interesting.
Later shot to death in 2021 by unknown assailants in an execution-style attack that was also deemed gang-related. There has been much debate over what role do the rappers play in participating in and fueling the escalating gang culture in Sweden. In one of the more recent examples, in October 2023, Sweden was experiencing a particularly shocking wave of violence, apparently driven by one of the more prominent modern gangs, the Foxtrot Network, which the police suspect to be one of the country's leading drug distributors for the moment. They would fall into an all-out war against their enemies for the control of the country's drug trade, as well as going through a bloody internal conflict that has seemingly split the gang into two sides. And following a string of deadly shootings and bombings where numerous people had been killed, including a 13-year-old kid and the mother of a gang member. A rapper named 50, affiliated with the gang, would even go on Instagram Live together with one of the gang's alleged leaders, Benzema, who was allegedly hiding from the Swedish police in Iraq and had even rumored to have been dead, killed by hired assassins. However, this would turn out to be just a trick by Benzema to fool his ops, who he would taunt relentlessly in the video, while toting a gold-plated AK-47 and surrounded by similarly armed goons looking like a real-life character from GTA. Unfortunately for 50 and Benzema, their gangster lifestyle wouldn't last for long, because soon after, 50 and several other Foxtrot affiliates were arrested in Tunisia on gang-related charges. While for Benzema, the end would be even worse, because in January 2024, he would end up being assassinated in the middle of a busy street in Iraq, shot in his car just like he had faked his death only a few months earlier. With Swedish gangster rappers' connections to the criminal underworld being this blatant, it's no surprise then that much like in some other European countries such as the UK, there have even been demands to censor gangster rap artists in the Swedish media. Meanwhile, other gangster rappers have announced that they are ending their music careers, concerned about the influence.
He let the gangster don't want the weight on my shoulder. Gangster rap, toss string yards, what's up, and anybody can get this shit. For or something religious. I thought, no, I should be reading it.
They're having on the use, and tired of the mental load that comes with participating in this modern-day reality show that gangbanging has become online. So today, we're going to dig deep and look into the shocking untold story of the rise of gangs, and learn once and for all.
Swedish got it, bro. Y'all niggas wild.
Exactly how gangster rap turned Sweden upside down.
Sweden is 1,000 miles from south to north. Sweden is rich in scenic variety. From the wide plains of the south.
Sweden's amazing. It's incredible. The people are beautiful. They've got no trash. Their fish even tastes like candy. Like, nothing bad ever happens there.
Riots broke out in the Stockholm suburb.
Just across the narrow waterway is the bustling traffic of the modern city.
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden. Who would believe this? Sweden. They took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible.
There's always a friendly policeman to direct visitors to the point of interest.
Sweden. And then a day later, I said, has anybody reported what's going on?
Vi har mycket skjutningar och vi har mycket mord. Jag återkommer till det.
And it turned out that they didn't, not too many of them did. Take a look. Take a look at what happened in Sweden.
Or 40 no-go zones in Swedish towns and cities.
Correct.
30 to 40 of them.
That's right.
The country is experiencing some serious security issues.
But one of the brightest features of Sweden's social program is child welfare. Today, this old kingdom is a modern country. Yes, but in many ways it remains picturesque Sweden.
Building your online business?
This is crazy. Like, that's all I gotta say. This shit is crazy, bro.
The Swedish hip-hop scene emerged in the 80s, shortly after the birth of the genre in New York in the late 70s, and Swedish hip-hop followed in the b-boy mold of New York hip-hop's original origins. Firstly, focusing on the pre-rap elements of the genre, like breakdancing, with some of these early hip-hop breakdance events in Stockholm showing the world that Sweden could get down with just as much talent as the New York b-boys. But at the end of the 1980s, pioneering rappers like MC Tim had emerged from the country, making history by becoming the first rapper in Sweden to ever drop a 12-inch hip-hop record in the native language. The end result was fairly respectful towards the original.
MC Tim is great. Hey man, nah, my fault, man.
Hip-hop culture, yet undoubtedly somewhat cringe-inducing if you look back at it these days.
Varför har du en kedja runt halsen? Dels för att du vill ha det, och dels för att det är som en symbol för hiphopen. Hur länge håller man på med det, tror du? Jag kommer hålla på.
But the early rap scene in Sweden and other northern European countries was often defined by the native Caucasian Swedes trying to imitate the African-American scene, generally in a respectful manner. Now, in the 1980s, there were...
Listen, that'll never feel right. As a black person, especially back then, the reason why, even if you don't got a negative connotation to it, the reason why it would never feel right, man, is because just a simple statement that everybody want to be black, but nobody want black problems. So the same stuff that, like you said, with the chain and all that, we get called thugs and shit. You get arrested immediately. You're going to jail. Rather, you just think it's cool just to wear or whatever. You getting arrested immediately, especially back then in the 80s, 90s. You was getting your ass whooped. You was going to jail. People might set you up. My dad has multiple friends that never did nothing that actually just they went to jail for life. That's not a crazy story. Or you got your ass beat. You got dropped off in a different hood just because like you didn't get this job because of this. So even if you don't have no negative connotation to you that's dressing like us, you know what it feels like? It feels like the same stuff that we were talked down upon, and now that we made it cool and we got something for ourselves, damn nigga, you gotta try to be like us, bro. Stay over there, bro. Y'all was just talking about how this negative stuff about us, and now we made it cool, so now you want to be like us. And it's why I'm not a fan of, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm not a fan of other races trying to get bigger lips like our women, bigger butts, which is crazy because our women were crapped on, made fun of for big lips. Men have been made fun of for having big lips. Our women were too thick, made fun of for having too big butts, right? And they're getting surgeries too, but in general, it's a lot of different races trying to get bigger lips, like our women, which is hilarious because that is the same stuff they were made fun of for. Same stuff black men were made fun of for. So it's just there's not going to be a good way to just, especially back in the 80s and 90s when things that were done to black people happened more often in a public space rather than more systematically. So, yeah, it's never gonna look good. So that is kind of this joke and laugh, but let's continue.
Were already many different ethnic minorities in Sweden, as the country was one of the first in Europe to adopt multiculturalism as a mainstream political ideology, in the years leading up to the hip-hop boom, implementing one of the most generous immigration policies in the continent. First, it was mostly work-based immigration, but in the 70s and 80s, this transformed, as the country began receiving many refugees from all over the world. And in decades since, Sweden has actually taken one of the largest numbers of refugees per capita in Europe and the rest of the so-called Western world. And as demographics shifted, a diverse range of people from those minority groups would soon enter the budding Swedish rap scene and begin expressing themselves. It didn't take long for Swedes with multicultural backgrounds to begin representing the country musically all over the world, with Swedish artists such as Nina Cherry, who actually rapped in English, being one of the first to receive considerable popularity in the late 1980s, with songs that were surprisingly similar to the American pop rap scene. Perhaps in this case, with Cherry's diverse musical ability being the result of her stepfather being the established American jazz trumpeter Don Cherry, and her biological father, Sierra Leonean actor and musician Amadou Jah. She would have early success with her first album, Raw Like Sushi, which actually...
That's what I think it is. That's crazy. Don... That guy is like I think that's like one of the greatest trumpet players of all time. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't know the guy's name, but like he was even like there's like a very huge trumpet player. If he's the one that worked with Don Cherry, like they even kind of featured like an episode about him in House, I think a little bit. Cherry Jazz. I don't know for a fact, but there's a very famous trumpet player that did a lot. I don't know if it's him, but it's yeah. Sorry, y'all. Let's continue.
Peaked at number 3 on the UK albums charts, and she would go on to win 2 Grammy Awards, an MTV Award, and a Grammy nomination. Of course, in the 90s, Swedish pop acts would gain popularity globally, and a wave of Europop groups emerging from Sweden would find huge success all over the world. People like Ace of Base and E-Type would represent Sweden's musical abilities globally. However, beyond internationalized Swedish artists making music in English for the wider British and American audiences, in the midst of this pop music boom, there was one artist who would take Swedish rap all the way to the top of the Swedish charts. Markoolio was a rapper of Finnish background who migrated to Sweden as a child, with his stage name being inspired by the American
like, bro, it's not like I said, bro. It's no one's fault, man. It's just never gonna look good, bro. And it sounds like he did well, but so did Ice Ice Baby. There's a reason why Ice Ice Baby didn't really make a good song after that. But let's continue, man. It's just...
Coolio was a rapper of Finnish background who migrated to Sweden as a child, with his stage name being inspired by the American rapper Coolio mixed with his real name, Marco, releasing a string of hit albums and songs in Swedish which racked up many platinum plaques in the process. And while Markoolio represented one of the biggest mainstream successes when it came to Swedish rap to emerge in the 90s, his music was more polished, tongue-in-cheek, and aligned with pop music rather than the gritty, authentic, and marginalized voices that pioneered American rap music. Now,
that was smart, though. From what that just described to me, that was very smart, because you're not the same. So him still being himself, to me, is what really made it good. He was still being himself. He wasn't trying to be something that he's not, trying to get a sound that's like, that's not me, bro. Like, I'm just funny and it funny, kind of tongue in cheek, like you said. Like, I think that was probably the best route to take, because it's not gonna sound the same. Because then it's just like you're just flat out copying. You're trying to be something that you're not, and it doesn't. Whether on purpose, with energy behind it or not, it's never gonna go well, especially for black people.
Now, earlier in the 90s, homegrown Swedish rap emerged with a more localized style and a connection to their equivalent of the streets. For example, the Latin Kings were a rap group of Swedish and South American backgrounds who made the charts with their 1994 album, which translates roughly to Welcome to the Suburbs, which popularized the use of so-called suburban Swedish, a multi-ethnic youth language adopted by the working-class youth in the country. This dialect was born in the migrant-dominated suburbs in the outskirts of large cities like the capital, Stockholm. The name of this dialect as suburban Swedish stems from the fact that, unlike in the US, where poorer and marginalized communities are often located in the inner cities, while the suburbs are generally safe places for the middle classes, in some European countries like Sweden, this setting is often reversed. In Sweden's case, the country had actually built an enormous amount of public housing projects in the outskirts suburbs as part of their so-called Million program in the 60s and 70s. This was literally a political mission to provide 1 million new public housing units, a highly ambitious task which they actually succeeded in. I mean, that sounds like something the UK should do, to be honest. But anyway, it was in these suburbs that many of the new migrants eventually settled in Sweden, including most of the refugees who had fled there to safety, with many of these refugee communities often struggling with issues like unemployment and social exclusion. This would eventually create segregated neighborhoods where poor working-class migrants would actually become the majorities. And it was in these communities where a new wave of authentic and real rappers began slowly emerging. Rappers whose backgrounds was much more reminiscent to the original oppressed communities who birthed the American hip-hop scene in inner-city New York. One particular artist would actually end up playing a central role in truly popularizing Swedish rap music that was still faithful to the original American scene in style, while still being localized and authentic to the local Swedish culture. That rapper was called Petter. After dropping his debut album in 1998, he would go on to drop 2 albums that topped the charts in Sweden, as well as racking up a litany of platinum-certified top 10 hits in the decades that followed. He would play an integral role in making rap music truly mainstream in Sweden, kicking off a Swedish hip-hop boom at the end of the 90s and into the early noughties. However, despite rap becoming mainstream in Sweden throughout the 90s, also during this decade, underground rap circles began to grow, and subgenres such as so-called conscious rap would also gain popularity in the country. The rap group Loop Troop, or Loop Troop Rockers, made up of MC Promo and Supreme, as well as DJ-turned-producers MB and Cosmic. They would gain an audience in Sweden and abroad by rapping in English about graffiti culture, as well as police brutality, corruption, racism, and other socially critical topics with a Swedish lens. Since then, they've made a name for themselves in European underground circles for the last few decades. However, interestingly, as the decades went on and Sweden's demographics would slowly shift, partly due to the influx of migrants flocking to these suburban communities, rappers of a diverse range of backgrounds would ultimately emerge and increasingly reach the Swedish mainstream music culture. Artists such as Timbuktu, named after the city in Mali that his father hailed from, who would eventually drop a #1 album in 2007, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce. There's also the Nigerian-born Ayo and Adam Tensta, whose father was from Gambia, but adopting a rap name derived from the suburb of Tensta in the outskirts of Stockholm, where he hails from. This was yet another suburb that has recently become known for its escalating gang wars. Into the 2000s, the Swedish rap landscape would begin to look more and more diverse, with more breakout talent coming in the form of Ison and Phil and their crew, High One, as well as people like Ken Ring and the rap group Labyrinth, whose rappers come from various backgrounds ranging from Chile, Palestine, and Serbia. The diversity in Swedish rap would extend beyond simply the heritage of the rappers themselves, as these rappers would commonly speak in their music about their hard upbringings in the Million program suburbs, as well as criticizing the racism and exclusion of Swedish society that had apparently been directed towards minorities from these neighborhoods. But although gangs had certainly already begun to form in many of these areas, the music rarely, if ever, actually depicted the gang lifestyle. However, in the final year of the 2000s, one rap group emerged that changed this completely. That group was called Cartel, translating to the cartel. This group would become famous for their provocative depictions of crime and social problems in the suburbs they grew up in. The story of Cartel is a somewhat unusual one, but to make a long story short.
Damn. Yo, look at this, bro. Pitbulls, man. Them niggas, man.
The gang lifestyle. However, in the final year of the 2000s, one rap group emerged that changed this completely. That group was called Cartel, translating to the cartel. This group would become famous for their provocative depictions of crime and social problems
Damn, man, Pitbull's just get a bad rap, bro. Like dead ass, bro. Like, bro, I know you a good boy, bro.
The cartel. This group would become famous for their provocative depictions of crime and social problems.
Like, damn, bro, they got this dog looking crazy, bro. Pitbulls, bro, no matter what country you in, bro, they got a bad rap, bro. like no matter what country you in, everybody just assume they just gangster dogs, bro. They most aggressive. Like, damn, man. Hey, man, you a good boy. You a good boy. Don't let those stereotypes stop you, brother. Good boy. There.
Problems in the suburbs they grew up in. The story of Cartellen is a somewhat unusual one, but to make a long story short, the group was started by two lifelong Swedish criminals who were serving long sentences in Finnish prison for allegedly taking part in a murder plot. The group was made up of Leo Kinnuson, which means Chinese, Carmona, of Swedish and Chilean background, and Jan Babyface Ranninen, of Finnish and Swedish background. While in prison, Carmona decided to start a rap group in Sweden that would tell the stories of him and Ranninen, the kind of stories about Sweden's criminal underworld that the country had never heard before in music. These were the true stories from their past lives of crime, including one of the largest robberies in Sweden's history, in which Carmona was allegedly one of the 3 perpetrators in 2002, as well as the murder of one of Sweden's biggest mob bosses of the 90s, Dragan Josovic, whom Ranninen had apparently executed in cold blood during a horse racing event in 1998 whilst working as a hitman. This was an assassination which kick-started a violent Serbian gang war within Sweden. Ranninen received an 8-year sentence for the murder, which he only ended up serving little over 5 years of. An incredibly low sentence that many thought was actually the result of his innocent looks, earning him the nickname Babyface. For the rap group Cartellen, Carmona recruited 2 rappers from their old stomping grounds in the suburbs of Stockholm.
Wait, these niggas said, yo, we really like that. Do you know what we should do? We should make a rap group to tell the stories of everything we did. Did you just say a rap documentary? Bro made his own audio book with a beat. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's damn. Okay.
Seb Stax and Kaka, both of whom had lengthy criminal pasts. Now, this group was a winning combination, and Cartellen would go on to become extremely popular in the Swedish media and charts in the following years. However, at the time, they were clear exceptions in the Swedish rap scene, where many also thought that gangster rap just didn't fit in with Sweden's open and tolerant culture. This is actually reflected in a popular music video by The Carousel, a parody of the cartel that came out in 2012, which makes fun of Swedish gangster rap in this context. This skit would actually mock Swedish gangsters for wearing sunglasses in the winter and making light of their dental hygiene, a music video which even featured a cameo from the real cartel, who pull up on them at the end of the video.
Sickan! Vad är ditt problem? Vad fan är ditt problem? Driver du? Hej, driver du? Det är vi som är kartellen. Mannen, har du härmat vår lock? Hej, vad är det här, mannen? Vadå dra fet lina?
Now,
that's kind of funny though. That's kind of funny that they were like tongue in cheek with it too. Like, yeah, we get it.
At the beginning of the 2010s, true gangster rap in Sweden was still extremely niche. However, that would rapidly change after the drill music movement began spreading from Chicago to the rest of the world all around these times.
Yeah, I gotta understand, bro. Like, Chief Keef put the world on the map, man. I'm actually gonna end it here. Chief Keef put the world on the map. Chief Keef is probably the most influential artist of all time. Like, what Chief Keef did to Chicago drill was crazy. And that drill sound, like, went worldwide. It took over the country of the United States of America. It took over like the world, and that influence is insane. I think with was it Back from the Dead 2 that really dropped, or was it the Love Sosa album? No, that's Back from the Dead. That's the other one. I think whatever the album Love Sosa and all that stuff was on. Because he was my favorite artist because I was only 13 when he dropped. Y'all, like, I think the album itself only did like 60,000 views first week or something. Listen, that did not reflect what the hell that song was like, bro. I don't like classic hit. I remember when I was younger, it only had like 22.4 million views. And they got taken down. I think they re-uploaded, then it got back to 22, 30 something. Bro, it really had more views than that. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, that thing should have had like 200-300 million views. The actual impact of that song for the youth was crazy, bro. Because the crazy part about the song, Chief Keef was only like 16. She was only like 15 or 16 years old. Bro, dead ass. Like, all a bunch of young dudes, bro, like, wilding, saying some stuff that was hard, bro. And, like, yo, I Don't Like, to me, is still one of my favorite songs of all time. And I don't even, and I Don't Like better than the remix with Kanye West now. Because Chief Keef, I Don't Like, is some of the most ignorant, like, he's not saying nothing crazy, bro. He's just really just saying like, nigga, I just don't like people, and everybody got somebody they don't like. The influence of Chicago drill for negative or positive or whatever his word started a lot, but they're not the first gangster rappers. Obviously, G Unit, 50 Cent, everybody knows about the 90s with, Tupac, NWA. They started a lot of stuff. They influenced a lot. So, but influence is crazy, man. Sweden is wild. We've only 20 minutes in. This is part one. I owed y'all. Swedish people what they need. And yeah, man, it's your boy Chosen. Hope you guys enjoy my reaction. Please like the video up, subscribe up, man, so I can get a part 2 coming, man. The comment, like, subscribe helps me out a lot. Put out in the comments any songs y'all want to react to. Wow, y'all wildin', man. It's your boy Chosen, man. Like, subscribe. I'm out.